On a Christmas day, 2021, 2021, yeah, is when I felt like, no, this weight is too much. And when I went home, I found there was plenty of food, good food my husband, I remember, had cooked and for us, and there was a lot of food. And I felt, no, I just went home and said, you know what? I'm going to stop eating now. I have to start watching my diet. He said, what happened? I said, today we had an emergency at work and I couldn't even go upstairs. I had to wait for the lift. I'm scared of going through the stairs and I knew I'm unfit. And with all the fun of Christmas Day, I refused. Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Karaoke Moments. This is a channel where we discuss about life conversations, and we have a tagline where we say, life is a journey, walk in it. And in this life, we have so many things that happen, and that is why we say it's a journey, you walk in it. Welcome. If you're coming here for the first time, we want to request you to subscribe, continue commenting and liking our channel, share with your friends. And we also want to thank you if you have been there before as our subscriber. We want to thank you for your faithfulness, and may you continue to do it and continue to share our videos. Today I was just thinking, what can we share? And I thought about determination in life. And determination, it came across in my mind about weight loss, weight gain, dieting, going for that. And when we talk about that, I thought, I have always been a plus size young girl, all the way to adolescent, all the way to being a woman now. And it's not easy to lose weight. Have you ever thought about trying to lose weight? I know there are some people who even actually try to gain weight. This life, this is where my friends and people from Nigeria and West Africa, I think generally, they say life is no balance. You know, some people are really struggling to gain weight and some people are really struggling to add weight. So I'm thinking, when I decided I would like to lose some weight, what did I do? Join us as we get to hear what happened. So it was this moment when I thought about losing weight, when I couldn't. And especially when I realized I'm unfit. You know, you can be plus size, like extra weight on you, but you know you're fit. You can be able to walk. You don't feel your weight. You can jog around. But I realized, like 2 years ago, I was feeling just unfit, you know. Even going just upstairs, just one stair, it was a problem. I just kept on panting, and I would even dread, like at my workplace where I work, we have an upstairs. Imagine one floor, I would have to wait for the lift. And my work at times involve emergencies. And I thought, one day there's going to be an emergency and I will not be able to even go up. And I decided, you know what? God help me. I need to know how I'm going to shed some weight. And it's true. I had really gained weight. I knew that. And I think with that abrupt, within 2 years, I gained like 10 kilos. As some of you who follow us know, I'm from Kenya and I relocated to UK. So I think just the adjusting and the pressure and the stress kind of adjusting and the loneliness, no social life, it made me binge for sure. I know I overindulged. I could eat and, you know, I would eat even maybe food that my body is not used to. And I realized I'm just gaining weight, you know, and a lot of sweets, there's cakes here. And I feel like food is so available here. If you just release yourself, it's so easy to eat anything and everything. So I could eat sandwiches, I don't know, some cakes, ice cream, which I wasn't even actually back at home in Kenya. I used to take even tea without sugar. I started taking tea with a little bit of sugar. I went into 2 sugars. I continued like that until I thought, oh, how can I now? Cutting that weight is where was a problem. So one day I was just going on to the Facebook and I saw someone posting and people commenting on her wall, how she's helping people to lose weight and people even congratulating her. And I thought, okay, she's from Kenya. Even if I'm not there, let me chat her out. And I called her out. We talked. She involved me into a 5-day program. Around that time, she was actually in a week's time going to do that. And I called her and we got into a program. Let me first take you back. On a Christmas day, 2021, 2021, yeah, is when I felt like, no, this weight is too much. And when I went home, I found there was plenty of food, good food my husband, I remember, had cooked and for us, and there was a lot of food. And I felt no. I just went home and said, you know what? I'm going to stop eating now. I have to start watching my diet. He said, what happened? I said, today we had an emergency at work and I couldn't even go upstairs. I had to wait for the lift. I'm scared of going through the stairs and I knew I'm unfit. And with all the fun of Christmas Day, I refused. I said, no, I am going to take only a handful. But because I didn't have the expertise, I started wanting to know how I can do that. One thing that I knew for sure, I could not go like to the gym. No, I couldn't, because I don't think my work can help me to stick to that. I've ever tried there before. It was so difficult. Maybe once a week you do 2 classes, then because of shift you're not able to do so much. And I thought, this thing is not supporting me. Actually, in 3 months I managed to lose 5 kilos back at home in Kenya. But because of traveling and work at that time, I realized when I backslid, or when I fell back and stopped doing the practice and going for aerobic classes, I gained 8 kilos, actually 5, the ones I had lost, plus 3, something like that. So I knew, due to my work, I'm not able to be disciplined. Sometimes I'm working quite early, sometimes late. So this time I wanted to try and do dieting, and especially do with someone who can help me to do with it. So as we went, I talked to this lady. She told me about it. She told me how the grams too. She involved me in that class. Let me tell you where the story is. So she gave me a program. She asked me, how many kilos did I want? And I told her, fine, I would like to shed 10 kilos. And that was in December, as I told you. So she said, from January up to June, how many kilos do I want to shed? I say 10. She said, okay, so we aim at 2. I don't know. She's a well-being professional. And she told me, okay, what we are going to do is, we will aim at 2 kilos because I want to do 2 kilos a week, a month for 2 months. And no, 2 kilos a month for 6 months. That makes around 10. And it's true. We started our journey, and she told me what to buy. I bought a kitchen weighing scale, a small kitchen weighing scale. We did our measuring of the food. And let me tell you, my breakfast was to be made of basically 30 grams of carbohydrates, 50 grams of proteins, and 50 to 70 grams of vegetables. You know, in my world, when I thought about that, I didn't know how it was going to be. So I bought my weighing scale and started measuring those. I've dropped it in the video. You're going to see the amount of food that I was eating. And I put it into the weighing scale, and I said, so I took a photo and called and said, so is this the one that you meant? Because even when I looked at what was meant to be my lunch and dinner, it was the same. It was only that protein now was going to be more. So I was still going to take 30 grams of starch, anything starch that I'm going to eat, 50 grams of vegetables, 50 to 70, and maybe 100 grams of protein, or 130, thereabout. So I measured. She said, yes, that's it. You've gotten it right. My God, let me tell you, the first 3 days or so, I suffered. It was like I'm fasting. For those ones who do religious fasting, they know what it means. So I continued 2 weeks. But at the end of 2 weeks, I felt my body is getting used to, and I would now shed the weight. And I was still determined. Remember, our lesson today is about determination. I was determined. Why? Because I had started now in those 2 weeks. I started feeling better. I started feeling more stronger, though I couldn't tell. And oh, sorry, there's a weighing scale also, digital weighing scale to be weighing. And I was told even when I lose 10 grams or 20 to celebrate per day. So I started also my diary for checking my weight on daily basis. So I started losing my weight. I remember I started at 95 kilos. So I started doing it, and I started watching and watching. By the end of the month, 1 month, I lost 5 kilos. I thought, this is a joke. So I lost 5 kilos. I continued. By the end of 2 months, I had started now losing 7, because I didn't want also to lose so much. I think because I've always been a plus size, I didn't want to lose myself from my frame. And I wanted 10 kilos of because mostly I've been between 84 and 87. So I thought, let me aim at 85. And by the end of 4 months, I was 5 months or so, actually before my target of 6 months, before the target of 6 months, I had already lost the 10 kilos. And since then, I was able to maintain. Nowadays, as we speak, fast forward nowadays as we speak, I still a little bit of 10, 30 grams more, But even when I misbehave and I've eaten more, I always know and I have to reduce. And I'm going to show you some of the vegetables that I pick, and then later I'm going also to show you like my measurements and how much I do after cooking and how it comes out to be, so that you can see these 30 to 50 grams of my starch, or maybe the 100 to 130 grams of my proteins, or maybe the 50 to 70 grams of my vegetables or salad. How is it and how much is it? And you see how, as I say, determination is important. But because I know my spreading, like for example, breakfast, I take 30 grams of oats, for example, with some milk. Then I can get maybe 2 boiled eggs. And I don't take the yellow egg part of it, the yolk. I don't. I take only the white part, 2 eggs. And then maybe I can do my vegetables. Or if I decide, maybe 30 grams of yam and maybe black tea with, I like to put lemon, or black coffee and I put some lemon. So that one I know I have my yam, which is start. And then I can do maybe a few pieces of beef or chicken, equal to 50, or sometimes it's only 5 pieces, 50 to 70 grams, or maybe just 7 maximum. But it depends with the size, just have small sizes. And then I can do maybe salad, and lettuce is my best. So we will see how I spread out my meals. I can also do, by the way, cassava. I can also do maybe pounded yam or pounded cassava, which it's called gari. And yeah, it becomes nice. Rice I rarely take. I take a few times, but I find myself sweet potatoes, yam, cassava, like they are becoming my favorite. And because actually they are even lighter and I like the taste. Yeah, so come with me as I go to shop. So as you see behind me, that's Sainsbury. This is one of our supermarkets here, and I stay so close to it. So being on a Sunday, we do not have a lot of cars. People were just getting off, and I managed to come on time and I paid. And fortunately, I managed to buy what I wanted. So if you look, it's looking a little bit abandoned, doesn't look, but the whole of this place, if it was just working hours for this supermarket here, it could have been full, maybe with cars. So I've managed to buy what I wanted, and I'm going to go home to make my meals. And when I make my meals, I'm planning to share with you so that you can see my spread out grams, and when I'm weighing and how it is done, and you can be able to see my portions. And this is in the spirit of determination, because there's nothing that it cannot be changed. Everything is changeable. But you know where the problem is? Mentally. If you tell yourself you're going to change it, it's doable. Because I remember from moving from a full big plate to being told that I'll be taking grams, I thought, whoa. And it's true, the first 3 days, 1 week or so, I struggled out. Hunger pains. I had to take water in between, or maybe take some nuts, because basically how my day looks like is from that program, I'm supposed to take 1 fruit per day. But I can tell you the truth, it is possible. Though initially it was difficult, because I would take even 3 bananas a day, or 2 apples plus 2 bananas, and I thought that was, oh, dieting. But let me tell you, the sugars in those fruits, I didn't know it also contributes to what? To the carbohydrates. So you find you need like maybe a fruit. And she said, if it is so bad, 2 fruits maximum, but or different. If you take an apple and a mango, that's it. Or an apple and an orange, that's it. But you can't take 2 apples or 2 mangoes because of the sugar distribution, which is equals to carbohydrates, the same you're trying to cut. So my typical day is, when I take my breakfast in the morning, I'll be taking my 30 grams of maybe starch, and 50 grams of proteins, and 50 to 70 of vegetables. Then lunchtime and dinner, it's the same, but I'll be spreading out. My protein is the one that is usually more. So it's like 100 to 130 grams of proteins, maximum 150 twice at now lunch and dinner. In between, I'm allowed to do a snack, but a snack is something like maybe a fruit or a handful of nuts. So that is how I spread my day. But in between, I take lots of tea, and I take black tea with lemon, or black coffee with lemon. I also take plenty of water. And you realize, because also you're busy and you're not just doing that, when your body gets used to, you don't even struggle. And even when you cheat and you know you have overeaten, you'll be able to reduce whatever you took. But ideally, stick to your plan and you'll see the results. Anyway, joining me very soon after I cook, and I'll show you my portions. All right, now my food is ready to be served. This is my protein for my supper, and that is meat any kind of meat. Someone can use beef, chicken, or pork, whatever someone wishes. But that's it's supposed to be between 100 and 130 grams, but I've done 132. There's a 2 there. Okay, having done my protein for my supper, this is, by the way, the kitchen weighing scale. I'm going to point on it, this one, and that's my piece of yam. It is supposed to be between 30 grams and 50. So as you can see, that's 50 grams, and I'm going to add onto my plate for my supper. Okay, my next meal needs is vegetables, and I'm choosing to take lettuce, salad. I'm supposed to take 50 to 70 grams. I go on the higher side. I'm taking 70 grams. So yeah, that's on the kitchen weighing scale, that's 70, and I'm going to add it onto my plate. And that's my meal plan for the day as promised. So I have my main course meal for my supper. I have meat. You can choose whichever meat. So mine, I've done meat, which is pork tonight, and it is 130 grams of pork, and I have a piece of yam, that is 50 grams, and I have vegetables, that is 70 grams. I have my lemon tea without sugar. I've squeezed a few drops. That's my supper, and till tomorrow for my breakfast. And my breakfast is, as I had explained earlier, I like to take small measures and try to maintain there. And in case of anything, in case I cheat, into brackets, in case I eat a little bit more, my next meal I always reduce. So determination is very important in life. It's just a story of food and nutrition and dieting, but let me tell you, that journey, it taught me about never giving up. Do you know, I eat everything, but in moderation. And even when I steal and I eat more, I'm able to tell and I'm able to cut down. So determination is very important. There are these times in life whereby you're trying to do something and you're failing. You know, you're a student, you're trying to learn and you keep on failing exam. Keep going, be determined. What is your end goal? Because actually, after I shed my 10 kilos and I went even up to 12, so I swing around 10 to 12 every other time. And I can tell the difference. I can tell the difference because most of even my outfits, I had to adjust. The fruit of determination. So what I am encouraging everyone, never give up. Know that you can make it. Be determined in whatever you're starting. Trust the process. Be ready. Have someone who is encouraging. Like, I remember in the house, my husband sometimes would scream at me. I would just put my food and he would say, today you're not measuring your food. And I'm like, I just feel I'm so hungry. But what I realized is my body, remember, I'm not a professional well-being or dietitian. I could be having knowledge of nutrition. But what I know is I realized my body is not so good with carbohydrates. When I misbehave with my carbohydrates, I really add weight, a kilo or 2 within a very short time, even a week or 2 weeks. But even if I binge a little bit more of proteins like meat, anything, I never feel the difference. Of vegetables, fortunately, generally I love vegetables. So I just want to encourage you, if you can be able to hit the gym, just hit the gym. Actually, it makes someone feel better. Like, even you feel your esteem, you know, you feel better, your well-being when you put on clothes, you know, when you're walking, I might not be 100 meters sprint or marathoner. I'm not saying I'm that fast, but I know I feel better. Even the way I walk, the way I pace, I feel like I regained myself, because I remember when I had started losing 12 and more. That's why I'm saying it's good to have a mate who can help you. When I started losing 12 kilos and it was becoming too much, my husband said, hey, now you might need to go slow. You might need to stop because it's too much. You're losing too much. And I think you've attained your goal. So what I mean is, even as you continue with this journey, because the journey that you really need to be encouraged in these things, you need a friend or someone who can walk with you in this journey. You know what? Never give up. In this life, never give up at all. I just want to encourage you to know that you can make it in life, to know that nothing should discourage you. You always be determined. If there's something you're aiming at, if you want to go back to school to study, just go back to school. study, be focused. If you want to lose weight like me, it might be a simple thing. Also do that. I don't know about gaining weight. Anybody who has ever wanted to gain weight and they couldn't, they can share with us. But a couple of people who I know usually is the determination to lose weight. Some even go to the gym, well done. Some have aerobics, some have workouts, some even just walking sheds their weight. I think it's according to everybody there. Based on metabolic rate, how your body is able to burn. I think that is what determines. Honestly, I don't think I have a very smart way of saying, because even that is why I was told you cannot copy anybody else's program. Everybody was being given their program by our well-being nutritionist. And just everybody was being able, this is what you stick with. Don't look at somebody else, because there's a way she calculates, gives you your grams according to your height, to your weight, all those BMIs. Yeah, so be encouraged. That's the end of our video. If you haven't subscribed in this channel, I want to encourage you to subscribe. This is where we have life conversations, and this is where we discuss about anything that happens in our life and affects us, because life is a journey. You walk with it. For all our dear subscribers, we want to thank you and keep on sharing our videos. We love you and see you next time. Thank you. Bye.